Hi, my name is Barry Rockhill. I'm from GBC Learning, and I'm going to talk to you about active and passive verbs. Before we start, let's have a quick reminder as to what a verb is. A verb is an action or a doing word. You probably heard it described in that way at school. So let's have a look at an example. The first sentence is, our cat walks on water. Amazing cat. The verb is walks because that's the action or doing word. I wrote to the client. Wrote is the verb. That's the action. Mary sent the email. The verb is sent. Stacy answers the phone. Again, answers is the action, so answers is the verb. Right, after that quick reminder of verbs, let's move on to this whole question of active and passive. Let's start off with the general rule of thumb that you'll see on Grammar Checks or the Plain English Campaign website, and that's prefer active to passive verbs. But what does it actually mean, and why should we be bothered about it? Let's have a look at an example. Sentence number 1 is active. John kicked Max. John is the subject of the sentence. The action is kicked, and Max is the object. John, the subject, is doing the action, so that's called active. To make it clearer, let's have a look at the opposite. Max was kicked by John. That's the passive version of the same sentence. And you can see that it's not as crisp, it's not as clear-cut, it needs more words, and in a funny kind of way sounds slightly more old-fashioned. In business writing, we want to try and keep the emphasis on the active rather than the passive. The key word is prefer, because there are times when you might want to use the passive. Let's have a look at the sentence we were seeing before, but in a slightly different form. Max was kicked. Who by? Well, we don't know. So there are times when perhaps you want to introduce a little bit of suspense into your sentence that you might use the passive. You may wish to deliberately withhold information. There are times when you want to be less confrontational, less putting the blame on someone, so you will keep things deliberately vague. There are occasions when perhaps a more objective overview would benefit from the use of a passive verb. But the rule of thumb is try and make 80 to 90% of your writing, particularly business writing, active. There we have it, active and passive verbs. If you'd like to know more, why not get in touch and come on one of our GBC Learning training courses. Thank you.